don't see it recording. There we go. Good afternoon and welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020. My name is Taylor Willis. I will be the moderator for this Zoom meeting. A little bit about me. I graduated from Lexington High School and I'm a class of 2019. I am now a student at Jackson State in the Engineering Systems Technology program, and I'm a co-op in the AMT program, which is Advanced Maintenance Technician. I currently work at Stanley Black & Decker. I'm co-oping there, and I plan to graduate next semester in May with a two-year college degree in maintenance experience and begin my career in manufacturing. My personal safety commitment is to be aware of my everyday surroundings and the hazards that can occur in those everyday surroundings. Let's start off with the introduction of our guests. Would you guys please introduce yourselves, starting with you, Mr. Reggie?
All right. Good afternoon, and I am so happy and pleased to be here. My name is Reggie Davis. I'm the Senior Manager of Operations at TBDN Tennessee Company. It stands for Toyota Boshiku Denso here in Jackson, Tennessee. Along with me is Hiromi Thomas. She's the manager of OMDD, which is a Kaizen term for continuous improvement. And we are both here in Jackson, Tennessee.
All right. Good to meet you guys. Mr. Jason, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Taylor. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Bates. I'm the Senior Manager of Administration for Toyota Motor Manufacturing Tennessee. And my safety commitment is to make sure that we thank our team members every day for following all safety procedures, including the new COVID-19 safety protocols. And with me also is Dan Ritchie. He's our plant manager and general manager of manufacturing for our facility here in Jackson.
Great to have both of you. I'm glad everyone can make it and join us in. Mr. Reggie, you care to tell us a little bit about your company, where it's located, what kind of products you guys are making?
Sure. Again, Reggie Davis, I will go back and perform my safety commitment. My safety commitment is to continue studying the plant processes to ensure that everyone who enters to TBDN leaves with zero injuries, including myself. As I stated, TBDN is located here in Jackson, Tennessee. Our company is a joint venture between Toyota Boshiku and Denso. We are an automotive filtration components manufacturing facility. We have right now roughly 530 team members. Our company was established in 1989, and we manufacture filtration components, intake manifolds, oil filters, cabin air filters for Toyota, GM, Ford, Chrysler, Subaru, Honda, and Denso. We are a OEM and an aftermarket company that we do supply to Denso. We have daily shipments of 100,000 pieces with over 50 trucks shipping out to 33 different facilities, including Canada and Mexico and the United States.
All right, thank you for that information. It seems like you guys have a large corporation worldwide.
Yes, we do. We have a worldwide footprint. We have actually, we cover just about every continent. We have plants in globally. And so that's an opportunity that we do have also with our team members to be able to visit to those places as well.
Thank you. Mr. Bates, do you care to tell us a little bit about your company and where you're located and what kind of product you guys make?
Sure. Thanks again, Taylor. So as I mentioned, we are Toyota Motor Manufacturing Tennessee. We are Toyota's largest high-pressure die casting facility in the world. So we're larger than the high-pressure casting operations that Toyota has in Japan and China and other parts of the world, but we are the largest in the world, and we are also Toyota's provider of engine blocks for every single Toyota and Lexus vehicle model that is manufactured in North America. So we are very proud of that distinction. While we are the largest high-pressure die-cast facility, we're very, very automated. So the number of team members that are needed at our plant is not as large as like a vehicle manufacturing site or something along those lines. We we employ approximately 325 team members. The interesting fact about that is approximately 50% of our workforce is skilled team members. So these are individuals that have education or training similar to what you're receiving, Taylor, from a technical college or a community college, and they're able to apply their trade in our workforce in maintaining our equipment and also in maintaining our dies. Our operation here in Jackson has been around since 2005, and we've steadily grown since that time. And we are producing we are producing engine blocks, both 4-cylinder V6 and V8 engine blocks. And we also produce some automatic transmission cases and housings. So those are all casted here. Once they are cast and they go through our finishing process and our quality inspection process, those engine blocks and transmission case and housings are then shipped to the 3 main powertrain assembly plants in North America that Toyota owns. And that's located in Georgetown, Kentucky, Huntsville, Alabama, and Buffalo, West Virginia. And at those sites, those engine blocks and transmission cases are machined and then assembled into final product and then shipped through out North America to Mexico, to Canada, and of course other plants in the United States, where those engines and transmissions are put into the Toyota vehicles, the Lexus vehicles that are manufactured in North America. So we're very proud of that. We like to say that our operations, we like to say that Toyota starts here right in Jackson, Tennessee. So we're very proud of that we're kind of the beginning stages of that whole automotive process for Toyota and Lexus in North America. So that's a little bit about who we are and what we produce.
Thank you for that information. You guys seem to be running the whole system there.
I don't know about that, but we try to do our very best to provide what the customers ultimately want in a high quality car or truck.
Thank you. I do have some questions for you all. I'd like to begin with. We'll start with you, Mr. Bates, since you're already good and ready. From Jackson Central Mary, Early College High, Josh asks, in a car manufacturing facility, how much of the annual budget is spent on design?
Well, maybe Dan can answer that question better than I can. He's an engineer with background is engineering, so he can probably answer that question better than I can. Want to try that, Dan?
Yeah, no problem. Good afternoon, everybody. My personal safety commitment is to provide plant conditions that allow for social distancing. So for us, the products are designed before they come here. We don't necessarily design the powertrain components. Those are done in TMC, Japan, or TTC in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We can modify, shapes to make things more manufacturable, to produce less defects. We're all about process improvement and maintaining the process, producing the parts. So there is a lot of creative and problem-solving activities here, but for us, it's primarily not a design facility. All that is done before we see the products.
Great, thank you. That input should answer that question very well. Mr. Reggie, you have anything to add on to that? How does your company have input in this situation?
Yes, Taylor, good question from the student at Jackson Central Mary. I was very proud to see a student from Jackson Central Mary ask the question. I actually am an alumni of JCM, so it's very near and dear to my heart. So go Cougars for that. I'm going to answer that question similar to what Dan said. Here at our facility here in Jackson, Tennessee, we do not do the design phase. That's done either by Toyota Boshiku Japan or Denso Japan to do the design of the product. We do have a design and research center in Novi, Michigan that does a lot of interaction with our parent companies on that. But when the process is brought to the facility, all of the design work has already been done. We do have the ability to do local engineering work on the equipment and how the process is laid out. We have a drawing from the customer based on whatever component it is. And then actually the manufacturing process is very important for us. We do get involved from a local group with engineering aspects for that part. And then actually Ms. Hiromi Thomas, her group, which does the Kaizen and process layout, time studies, and they do a lot of work so that we can try to utilize the best flow of our material systems. So the design part again is done offsite, but we do get involved with some of the local aspects as far as equipment is and that part of the design.
Thank you for your input. We'll go on to this question here from Mrs. B's third block career class, Henderson County Schools. Mr. Reggie, what is the #1 reason for job loss in our area?
So a good question. It was kind of tough for me to look at it. So I was looking at it from an internal standpoint. Right now we're in a hiring phase. So we are actually looking for team members. And so the question was kind of difficult for me to be able to understand it, but I'm looking at an outside standpoint. Some of the things that could affect that would be not the ability to not be able to find skilled workers and technical members and even manufacturing members to be able to do that. I could see where that would be discouraging for a company that was in a situation or in an environment where there was not readily available. I think the educational platform is also looked at as well. So what is the feeder process? How are the local schools? What are they involved in the community and things like that? So that question was kind of a difficult one for me to answer. And once again, I say that from a viewpoint that we're actually looking to hire team members. And I know that may not answer the question from Mrs. B's third block career class, but I would encourage everyone to consider manufacturing. Actually, it's a great field, and I know we're going to get into that a little bit later, but I think it's something that should be considered.
Thank you. Mr. Bates, any insight?
Yeah, and I think I want to continue on with what Reggie mentioned. You know, when a company is determining whether or not to expand their operations or to move their operations into a local area, you know, a lot of people think that they are looking at somebody, you know, what's the tax base and what's the cost of land and things of that nature, and that's all important. But more importantly, it's really that workforce in that area. That's what ultimately makes the decision for Toyota. Do we have a qualified and capable workforce who is educated, who has the skills that are necessary to work in problem or in the manufacturing environment? And you know, I'm pleased to say that I think in this area, in Madison County and Jackson in particular, and then the surrounding counties, you know, over the years, through partnerships with Jackson State Community College, the Tennessee College of Applied Technologies in our area, as well as the local chambers of commerce that are in this area, we've done a great job of educating and teaching people the importance of manufacturing for a healthy economy, and also the importance of an educated and skilled workforce. So, you know, the things that are important to us is making sure that we get young people involved in STEM classes, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. Getting them engaged in those types of classes, whether that's at an early stage in elementary and all the way through high school. And then encourage them and teaching them about the values and the ability for them to be working in manufacturing in our area. There's lots of companies that in addition to TBDN and Toyota, there's lots of companies in our area that need highly qualified and highly skilled manufacturing team members. And we need people who have that strong problem-solving ability, We need people who have that strong um, ability to follow standardized work. We have that ability to also to be dependable and reliable, so that they can be there and work and provide provide the labor that's necessary for work to be successful. So, all of those things that that are taught in school about the importance of education and skill development are really the things that a manufacturer looks for when making a decision to either expand or to open up an operation in their community. I don't know if Dan wants to add anything to that comment. He's been involved in some of those decision makings about expansion and so forth. So for our company, so he can maybe address that a little bit more than I am.
Yeah, Jason, maybe to add to that is the willingness and desire of the education system to embrace manufacturing. For many years, manufacturing was considered, dirty, a kind of a menial type job. But the fact of the matter is, it's very technical. It's a great career. It's great pay and benefits. It's a secure job, and we're having to change people's minds about manufacturing in order to get young folks into our facility. For those that are looking for a career, technical work, from a tool and die, equipment maintenance, those are all great careers, and they're very highly paid careers as well. And if you have the education, you can pass the test. The world is your oyster. There's a lot of jobs out there available for folks.
Very well said. Thank you for your input on that. I had a question myself that I've kind of been wanting to ask. Since all of this COVID has been going on, I know it's affected everybody differently. How has COVID affected your production efficiency in the past 6 to 8 months? Anybody want to start off?
I can start, and I think Dan can speak more clearly about the impact our efficiency. But I think like a lot of companies, we know this all happened back in middle of March. We weren't quite sure what was going to happen. Initially as a company, Toyota in North America said that we were going to shut down our operations for 2 weeks to kind of, get people home and keep them in their houses to stop the spread of the virus. That 2 weeks ultimately led to 8 weeks of downtime of non-production time at our plant, which was unprecedented for our company. But the wonderful thing about that is during that time, even though we did not have team members in the plant working as a company, Toyota had made the decision that we were going to maintain our team members' employment. We paid them for 6.5 of those 8 weeks for them to be at home and to stay hunkered down and to keep safe with their families. So that that tells the commitment that we have as a company toward our team members. But in the middle of May, we brought people back, and we began the process of trying to manufacture in this COVID era. What was interesting for us is that even though we weren't manufacturing in the months of April and May, our dealerships across the country were continuing to sell vehicles, not at the rate that they were selling prior to the COVID, but they were still selling them at a higher rate than we had anticipated. And so vehicles were quickly leaving the dealership, and we had to do catch up to make up for those vehicles that had been sold. And we're still in that catch up mode, to be honest with you. But we're slowly progressing and making long strides to close those gaps, which has been a challenge for our team members and for everybody. But we've been able to meet that challenge. It has been a challenge to manage with all the different requirements. You can see myself and Dan. Even though we're in an office, we're actually in the same conference room. We're wearing our masks. Our team members are expected to wear a face covering while they're working on the plant floor. That can be a burden. They're not, sometimes they're hot. Sometimes it's difficult to wear one at times, but we have to help prevent the spread of the disease. So we do ask that. We have seen a Toyota's approach to making sure that we keep the virus out of our workplace is that we're very, very conscientious of team members who are sick, and family members of team members who are sick. And so that, in the past where team members may have come to work if they had a little bit of sinus congestion or maybe an upset stomach, now we're taking the approach of, do not come to work during that time until you recuperate, because we don't want the potential, if it is COVID, to spread throughout our team members. So, that's caused some burden around attendance and so forth. But our team members really have met the challenge and have really made some great improvements. And maybe Dan can talk about some of those improvements that we've seen the last few months when it came to our machine our availability, which is basically the runtime of each of our pieces of equipment.
Yeah, Jason, I think the one key thing for Toyota is, our underlying philosophy is respect for people. And with COVID, that's where we started. We wanted to ensure everybody's safety. So when it first broke, the pandemic, like Jason said, we shut down our operations, but very quickly we had to get back into production because, fortunately for us, people still want to buy cars. One of the biggest thing is we had to think differently. With Toyota, and I'm sure Toyota Boshuku is the same way, we're all about collaboration, teamwork, and with social distancing, it gets really hard to do. So we had to leverage technology, Zoom, Teams, SharePoint, other platforms to have the collaboration, but respecting the social distancing. I think we've adapted fairly well. Initially, it was very expensive. Our efficiency wasn't so good, but the Toyota challenge to Kaizen, we found ways to improve and reduce the time it takes to do those things. In the beginning, we had manual temperature checks, and everyone had to be scanned on the forehead. Now we've got vision systems in place where team members just walk in like there's nothing going on, but we're still ensuring their safety. So it's been a challenge, but we're making the best that we can.
I'm sure all of your employees were very grateful for that, the pay that they got while they were on that furlough. Mr. Reggie, I know your two companies are in correlation with each other. I'm sure it had the same amount of impact on you as well.
It had a very similar impact, and all the things that Jason and Dan both said can be directly mirrored to here at Toyota Boshuku. The difference for us is that we are a OEM, which is the original equipment manufacturer, and we do sales and aftermarket. So with that being said, as the product mix maybe had a shift in maybe new car sales for a moment because people were not really clear on what to do, the aftermarket business was just as strong for us. So in two of our manufacturing work centers, we really never shut down much at all. It was a challenge for us because we still had to have our indirect support from our maintenance, our tool and die, from our quality, our shipping team members, while some of the work centers were down due to them being OEM centers. We did have a strong aftermarket process going on. So that was a bit challenging for us to get an understanding of who would be here to work, volunteers to work, then were they qualified to work in the work sales and things like that, so that we can make sure that we provided the quality part to our customers and did it safely. So there has been a lot of challenges, and of course we do the temperature screening as well. We have put up barriers in our work facility to keep our team members within the social distance. We do have some work sales that we cannot do the 6-foot distancing, so we have put up barriers. Everyone is required to have a face mask upon entering the building. Sometimes it's been even more challenging. We've had to have them wear an actual face shield along with the face mask because we couldn't ensure the 6-foot distance between them. So we tried to go through and Kaizen that out. Hiromi's group did 95% of those activities. So her group became really busy during that time because they were installing all of the barriers and things like that to try to keep our team members safe. So COVID-19 has been a challenge for the manufacturing group. Our operation availability was affected, has been affected as well from that. So we are in a recovery mode and working every day uh, to get back to where we were. And that's the great thing about manufacturing. And one of the things that I do love about work being a part of the Toyota family is that one of our slogans is we meet challenges with courage and creativity to realize our dreams. So with this challenge becomes the opportunity for us to be able to utilize our strength, our teamwork, and pulling together to try to overcome the situation.
You know, Reggie, I think you hit on something that's really, really important, you know, is that it's through the crisis, it's through the trials that you know, we have to think differently, and we have to look at how do we make improvements all the time. So, you know, a lot of people think, well, you know, a situation like this, you know, can be devastating. And for some companies, it has been devastating. Let's not forget that. But for those who are able to, you know, we can take that challenge, we can take that crisis, and we can learn from it, and we can actually, when it's all said and done, come out better than we were before. And I think that's something that we've discovered is that, you know, there are things that we've learned through this process of how we can actually become more efficient. You know, in the past, you know, we had this technology, but no one really knew how to implement, for example, what we're doing here on Zoom, right? And you know, it's been around, but we really didn't implement it very well. But now we're kind of forced to do so, and so we're doing it, and we're suddenly realizing that, you know, the ability to share ideas so efficiently can happen literally throughout the world. And now we've taken, we utilize Microsoft Teams in our operation, but you know, we have Microsoft Teams on all of our cell phones for our supervisors, our leadership, our managers, and we're now able to share, you know, things from the floor with colleagues in Japan and in Europe and other places around the world. Whereas in the past, it would require a long trip, you know, to visit those companies and to see what's going on. It costs, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars. So just by introducing this simple technology, we're now able to save dollars from expensive business travel. We're able to save time because we're able to see things almost in real time, and we're able to get feedback very quickly. So, you know, again, many times crises and challenges cause us to have to respond and react, and then ultimately we can end up being better because of it. And I think that's an important thing to remember, especially with our young people, is that we should never look at a challenge or a crisis as a you know, an unsurmountable event. It's something that, you know, with patience and with hard work and with relying on the team, we can actually become very successful through that and become better because of it. So you know, that's I guess would be a word of advice and recognition that we've all received or been a part of, I think, over the last 6 months because of it.
I know we're all having to adapt as
Absolutely.
it occurs.
Yes.
Mr. Reggie, I have a question for you in particular. What advice would you give to a student interested in manufacturing?
Okay. My advice, I would have a lot of advice, but from my personal standpoint, I have been in manufacturing for 29 years. In next July will be 30 years for me in this very same facility. Upon my graduation from college, I had a degree in electrical engineering and had no idea really what I was going to do. Something similar to this happened to me, and I was anticipating going to work for Federal Express. I had a couple of friends who had graduated from Christian Brothers in Memphis and were working at Federal Express. And unfortunately, the Gulf War started, and I never was hired. Actually, I was hired, but never started. I got a letter in the mail and said, unfortunately, due to all the situations that my employment would not be able to be fulfilled. Long story short, I ended up back here in Jackson, where I actually am from, in 1991. Started working for this company and started out as a maintenance technician because that's what was available. And had no idea I was going to be designing things, I thought. And I actually gained an appreciation for the electrical career by being in the manufacturing group for a maintenance technician. Hadn't really experienced anything in manufacturing, saw the equipment on the floor, and honestly was a little bit intimidated by it. No one explained to me what manufacturing was. As Dan said earlier, all I knew was that it was something that you would always think it was cold, dingy, dirty. No one explained it to me. But once I actually realized what it was and what its involvement, I've gained a passion for the manufacturing facility. Grown throughout this career, and it's been a great place for myself, for my family. My wife used to work here. It's provided a great living for us, and I've been able to travel around the world and experience things with this company. So manufacturing is actually a great career to go into. I would challenge people to experience it, to try it, and you do not have to have a background in manufacturing. That's one great thing about it. In the Toyota group, we will train team members. We want team members to be present. If you're present and you have the will to learn, we have great training opportunities. I go back to Hiromi when she first started here, and for where she is now and some of the things that she's involved in, you would think that she had a career in manufacturing. Hiromi, tell us about that a little bit.
Okay, my name is Hiromi Thomas. My safety commitment is develop safety environment with simple and slim and standard stabilized and silent. So I am a OMDD, which is Operation Management Development Department manager at TBDM. Actually, I didn't have any manufacturing experience before actually start working TBDM. I'm from Japan, and then I've been working for TBDM at TBDM for 13 years. So the advice to the high school students, if you want to actually involve the manufacturing company, just find some future vision, and then find some value to work where any place you work, and then actually that's what I did. That's what I'm doing right now. Also, always think that any challenging to as opportunities, and then always be positive, and then so it is high school students. I understand my kids, they are high school students also, and then it's hard to realize how the future is gonna be, but anytime you can get any opportunities, and then either you can think that's the opportunities or something else. So just be positive, and then and then just find the value at the work where any place you work there. So, but experience or career vision, that's one of the important, but how much you can have the passion to do your job. So that's my comment.
Thank you. I know as a part of the AMT program, and I'm in the maintenance department, so I get to see different jobs throughout the plant, as well as our DC and WEC, and I value a lot of the workers in there. I sometimes get to see some hands-on of what they get to do, and then sometimes behind the doors, I get to hear about these new job creations or tasks that have been completed because of these people. And I really value the work that you guys do, as well as the workers that I work for in the company, especially through these times in the COVID. With this COVID going on, we've had drastic changes in face masks, and everyone said, it's going to be the new normal. And I think that a lot of us are starting to kind of get used to it a little more than we'd like to, wearing face masks, getting, temperature read every morning before you walk in the doors at 6 feet distance. And hopefully it won't last too much longer. But, if it does, I think we've all adapted to these surroundings and new facial masks that we have to wear. And I appreciate all of you input on these questions today. We have done a great job at getting these questions answered for these students. Does anyone else have anything to add to this Zoom before we?
Taylor, I have
Sure.
one quick thing is, you talked about, what do people need to do to get it, get a job in manufacturing.
Yes, sir.
I think one thing that people need to understand is that manufacturing encompasses so much. A lot of times we think it's just the actual making of things, and that is ultimately what manufacturing is. But you have to think about it. Once something is made, you then have to sell it. So a manufacturing company, isn't just about making things, but it's all the people involved in that whole aspect. So, if you look at a company like Toyota, you look at a company like Toyota Boshiku, they have people who are making the things at the various factories, like here in Jackson. But then you've also got the people who are designing, who are engineering those products. You've got all the people that then will take those products and that will market it. They'll have the advertising associated with those products. They'll have the people involved in the logistics of moving those products to and from to the customers and to other people throughout the world. You have all the accountants that have to keep track of the cost of manufacturing and the profitability of the organization. You think about all of the people that are involved in my field in human resources of finding, recruiting, and finding and hiring and training of people. Safety is a huge component of manufacturing. So you have many hundreds of people in a company that are involved in the safety aspect of an organization. And then, of course, you have all of the leadership when it comes to the supervisors and the managers and the senior managers and the executives of a company. I would dare say that there's probably, if you wanted to be involved in manufacturing and your background was may not be in the traditional sense, you could still probably find a job in that role. Now, of course, if you've got more of the technical skills like what you've been studying, Taylor, at Jackson State, of course, those jobs are probably more plentiful than some of the other jobs. But engineering, equipment maintenance, those are jobs that are readily available. But other people who have jobs in communications, who have jobs in accounting, who have jobs in human resources, who have jobs in IT, those are all types of jobs that are utilized and are needed in manufacturing. Even people who get jobs in, who may have a talent or a capability in art, there is work that's necessary for artists when it comes to the marketing and the advertising of products and things of that nature. So, just because you think that, well, I'm studying this, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with manufacturing. You may be surprised that there may be a job out there for some manufacturing company in its entire organization for you as well. So I think what we're trying to say is, don't stereotype what manufacturing is, but look at manufacturing and see how you can contribute with your knowledge, your capabilities, and your education as well. And consider manufacturing as a possible career for all people. And of course, one thing that we're really looking for, though, is the skilled people like Taylor and others you know, we definitely we have jobs readily available for those individuals as well.
That is so great. So great. Taylor, I want to jump in right quick and just to say this I've been knowing Jason for several years, and I enjoy just singing around and listening and learning from him, honestly. So we think alike on certain things. So what I've done is the same thing that Jason just went over. I'm just going to read the list off, and then I'll close with that. So it's talking about the different jobs in manufacturing. And so I looked at our company last year, 2 years ago, when we started hosting Manufacturing Day. We were talking, and we would only show our tool and die area and our maintenance area. And one day I was just thinking about it, and it goes right along with what Jason was talking about. So I'm gonna read this list of jobs or available in our company. So machine operators, process techs, manufacturing techs, team leaders, group leaders, supervisors, executives, senior managers, engineers, quality, accounting, business planning, human resources, purchasing, logistics, which includes our PC group, information technology, IT, our Kaizen group, which is our OMDD team, safety, and then you get into tool and die, maintenance, controls engineers, and then multi-craft technicians. So those are all jobs that are inside of this facility, inside of many manufacturing facilities. But when people think about manufacturing, they say to someone, as Jason stated, someone's making the product, and then they think immediately about if a machine is down, someone repairs it. So, but it's a large array of opportunities within a manufacturing facility. So that was what I wanted to say about the manufacturing aspect as well.
And going back to what Mr. Jason said about the all the tasks that go into, you know, it's not just a casting. You've got several components that go into you know, after that, you've got the shipping that comes into it. You've got I mean, it's fascinating to think about all the things that go into just one small little item, whether it be a casting or a tool or any type of, you know, product that is made. Ms. Thomas or Mr. Dan, do you have anything to add in?
This is Dan. I will say with manufacturing, it's got a soft spot in my heart because it's pretty cool at the end of the day to see your product out on the road, to know when you see a new Tundra or a new Tacoma rolling down the road that, man, I had something to do with this. And there's a really happy customer at the end of the day that's enjoying our product. And with manufacturing, you know, like Hiromi said, if you have an inquisitive mind and you're willing to learn, and you help the company, you know, be safe, make a good product, and make some money, the sky's the limit. You know, I started out as a machining engineer. I've been through maintenance engineering, maintenance manager. I've been in the accounting and finance side, safety, and then now I'm the plant manager here. And it's all because of manufacturing. You know, it's not your grandfather's manufacturing where you just do the same job. You know, you hit your 8 and hit the gate. It's a lot different. You know, we hear a lot of the students where, man, I want to be a designer. Well, not everyone can design things, but I will say with manufacturing is you use your brain every day. There's always a new problem out there. There's a new challenge, and very quickly, if you have that gumption, you can do it, and a good attitude, you get asked to do a lot of different things, and it's a lot of fun. I've been doing this. Next year will be my 25th year, and I can't believe it's gone by this fast. This is by far the best job I've ever had. So, like I said, if I had to do it all over again, I don't know if I'd do anything different.
Okay. So from my comment, believe it or not, when I was graduate college, and then my first job was I work at a travel agency. So anything about the manufacturing. And then I have very good opportunity to work at TBDN, 13 years. And then, but what I feel pretty much every day, I feel some accomplishment, achievement, and then of course I have a lot of challenge. But still, day by day, I work with our team members. And then, manufacturing, you cannot just make, it does not only make a part, it's a lot of actually involved team members, a lot of human resource development. It is, you won't see until I guess you're involved, but that's why endless. I really enjoy to work at the manufacturing company, and then I can see a lot of future opportunities. I really recommend to work at the manufacturing, and that's some different, skill set development also.
And to add on to Ms. Thomas and Mr. Ban, I can definitely agree on having to use my brain every day in the manufacturing world. And if I don't know it, there's definitely someone I can go to that'll, have some feedback or input on what I'm doing or what I'm working on, because they've worked on it for 20, 30 years. It's amazing to the people you meet and the things you learn from someone. I actually have a coworker of mine that's been there for 44 years, and he knows the plant like the back of his hand. And it's just, it's crazy to go up to him and ask him a question, him just, answer it right then. And as far as using the brain every day, whether it's math or, sometimes physics, if it comes into play, it's just, it's fascinating the way that the manufacturing world actually revolves. Does anyone else have any comments or input that they'd like to give, any feedback? I believe that I appreciate every single one of you and your information that you've given, and the comments that you've had for these questions and these students' questions. I thank each one of you for being here today and being part of this Zoom. And I believe that that will conclude for the day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor.